I'm very happy to tell you all that Natural England have now withdrawn their objection to Thorpe Park's brand new roller coaster. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is TheJackSilkstone and welcome to the 7th Project Exodus construction update. That's right, today I'm here at Thorpe Park and I'm going to be heading down Monk's Walk to talk you guys through all of the latest news that we have regarding Thorpe Park's exciting new roller coaster project. Now, some of you may have noticed that there hasn't been a Project Exodus construction vlog for about a month or so now. And the reason for that is because, as I said right at the start of this series, as and when we get any news regarding Project Exodus, I'll be making videos for you guys, updating you all on it. And yeah, simply, we haven't had any news regarding Project Exodus for a while now. For those of you that have been keeping up to date regularly with these updates, you'll know that Thorpe Park have submitted all of the planning applications and documents that they need to, and it's currently just sitting with the local council, who essentially need to give either a yes or a no decision. And yeah, there's obviously been a few bumps along this road with my last few videos, unfortunately, being quite negative news. Like, certain committees haven't been too happy with some of the documents, especially in regards to the kind of environmental impacts that this new ride could have. But yeah, today I'm very happy to say that I'm coming at you with a pretty positive video. We've got some good news, which I will discuss as I head down Monk's Walk. So, I won't beat around the bush, I won't leave you guys hanging for ages. The good news, what is it? Well, I'm very happy to tell you all that Natural England have now withdrawn their objection to Thorpe Park's brand new roller coaster application. So yeah, at first they weren't too happy with obviously a lot of the environmental impacts that this ride would have on the local area. However, having now received more information and clarity from Thorpe Park in all of these documents that they've kind of resubmitted, Natural England no longer have an issue with Project Exodus going ahead. And yeah, all of this was uploaded very recently to the consultation document page. Unfortunately, the actual document itself hasn't been loading for me, so the screenshot that you'll see throughout this video is courtesy of Thorpe Park Nostalgia over on Instagram. Go and check them out, fantastic page. But yeah, essentially this is a massive deal in the planning application stage for this roller coaster. Allow me to explain why. Essentially, the way that this roller coaster is going to get built is Thorpe Park have submitted their big planning application to the local Runnymede Borough Council. So they've got all of these documents, and within this kind of big application that Thorpe Park have submitted, they've gone to different organisations and companies and committees who specialise in individual fields, such as the environment, such as flooding, such as drainage, and all of that stuff. And they've basically proved to each of these different organisations, companies and committees that this project is safe to go ahead, so that essentially all the local council has to do is look what everyone's applied, all looks good, approve. Obviously that's a super simplified version, but the reason that this new news that we've got recently is so exciting is it's a massive hurdle that the park have now got over. They've got Natural England, who are in charge of a lot of like the environmental side of things, approval. They are happy for this project to go ahead. So unfortunately, this isn't the big green tick that we're all waiting for. However, this decision is definitely going to make things easier for the council when it comes to them deciding. And I'll talk about when we could be getting that decision later on in the video. But yeah, in the meantime, I am now here just outside of platform 15. Obviously this will be the site for the brand new coaster. Loggers Leap is still standing there nice and tall. And also, just to clarify, this isn't the same group as the environmental agency, who is obviously causing a lot of issues in regards to the flooding in this area. So what actually is the difference between these two groups? So the difference between Natural England and the Environmental Agency, I've got to get my phone up for this, big definition covered up, is that Natural England is needed to protect wildlife and landscapes, whilst the Environmental Agency is needed to protect the public from natural disasters such as flooding and pollution. So putting that into this context, the Environmental Agency obviously haven't been too happy with the infill of the lake as part of this project. However, obviously Natural England have now said you're all good to go ahead. So you might be thinking, well, this is all good news that Natural England are giving it the green light. However, it still doesn't clear up the issue that we had from the Environmental Agency who weren't happy with the lake. However, there is a bit more of a link than it may seem. Essentially, both of these two organisations are actually very similar. And in Natural England's kind of comments when they first replied to the consultation details, they stated that with regards to the infilling of the Abbey Lake Inlet, we still require some further information to determine the potential impacts of the construction phase of the new roller coaster on the SPA functional land. So that is exactly the same issue that the Environmental Agency were having a problem with. And obviously Thorpe Park have come back, resubmitted documents and changed the construction slightly for this ride. And Natural England are now happy with it. So my hoping is that the Environmental Agency will also look over these new changes and they will also be good with it. So although they are two separate bodies, and just because one of them has been greenlit, Natural England, big up, it doesn't obviously mean that the Environmental Agency are happy with it yet. However, they're relatively connected and it's looking good. Now, in terms of physical construction that's taken place here in Old Town, unfortunately, as of right now, again, nothing has really taken place. No ground has truly been broken yet. And I think that is just because Thorpe Park are waiting for that final approval from the council, and then they will blitz on ahead with construction. Now, as I said, I will shortly talk about when we could expect this big decision. But yeah, as I've shown in recent updates, this fence has now come down, which means we do actually get a really nice view of Old Town from Monk's Walk here. Hopefully it won't be too long at all before this old Canada Creek railway station is taken down and we get obviously the brand new ride station located right where that sits. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see another video where I actually head within the construction site. I would actually quite like to film a video down the old platform 15 route, because obviously this is not going to be an operating maze at this year's Fright Nights. So yeah, I'd love to take you guys down there and show you some of the cool sight lines that we'll have of the coaster once it gets built, if it gets built. That'll be really cool. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to film that video. I have to say, it feels like Halloween season has come very early this year with all of these dead leaves on the floor. It's giving me very autumnal vibes. But that's not a good thing for this next point, which I have to make, in which I'm going to speculate and predict when we could get this big final decision from the local council for Project Exodus, which we've now been waiting months and months for. Well, in one of my previous videos, I obviously looked up the next meetings for when the local council would be meeting, specifically the planning committee. And obviously in that video, I found that there was no Thorpe Park on the agenda for these meetings. And I said that the next one would be taking place in September and that hopefully we wouldn't have to wait that long. However, it seems like we might be. And the next meeting is taking place on Wednesday, the 7th of September. That's the next planning committee meeting. Now, as I've said many times, I don't necessarily know if Thorpe Park's project will be discussed in that meeting. I don't know if that's something that will be dealt with in an office away from meetings. But if it is discussed in a meeting, then that is the next meeting to turn our attention to, the 7th of September. And also, just to mention, I don't know if the results from this meeting will literally be published the next day, or if it will take like a week for all of the paperwork to go through. I really don't know. But yeah, I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that we'll be waiting at least until around the 7th of September to hear any kind of big final decision. Up until that point, obviously anything can happen. We could have more news from the Environmental Agency. They might join Natural England and give the big thumbs up. But yeah, I know a lot of you might be getting frustrated that this is all taking a while, and you might be concerned for the overall Project Exodus kind of timeline, because at the moment it's heavily predicted that the ride will open in 2024. However, obviously there's been a lot of delays up until this point. However, if we do take a look at the kind of next steps page on the consultation website that Thorpe Park set up, they did state that they were expecting a reply, a final decision from the local council in late spring or summer 2022. And I did Google it, and it stated that summer this year ends on the 23rd of September. So they have still got just over a month or so for this decision to kind of fall within the predicted area that they thought it would be. But yeah, that's why I was getting so worried about seeing all of these leaves on the floor. I don't want summer to end quite yet. We need summer to stick around so that hopefully this project stays on track. But yeah, at the end of the day, even in this kind of next steps document, it does state that they're planning on starting construction for this ride in late 2022. So I very much still think that this isn't too much of an issue. It's something that Thorpe Park allowed themselves to have plenty of wiggle room with. They knew that they weren't going to get an instant decision from the council or anything. This is a huge project that needs a lot of time being put into it. So yeah, don't worry too much, guys. I believe things are still looking good. Things are still looking on track, and hopefully we'll have the UK's tallest roller coaster over there very, very soon. And yeah, that brings me to the end of yet another Project Exodus construction update. As I said, as and when we get news, I will let you guys know and update you guys with these videos. But obviously this is an ever-changing project, so the more regular the news gets, the more regular the uploads will get. And yeah, I hope you guys are excited for all of that. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And otherwise, my name's TheJackSilkstone. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.